Good morning. It's Saturday, the 28th of April 2018. Welcome to this morning's United Kingdom talk. After a little bit of a holiday, boys and girls, I've had a lovely holiday, a really lovely holiday. I must say, I've sat here for 20 minutes and I'm finding it difficult to decide which bit to start with today, if you see what I mean. I always have here's my things to talk about today, and I have things on the TV screen, and I cannot decide what to start with this morning. So I will. I'm going to start with a little story about the little boy who's just died. It's in the Daily Mirror, Daily Mail, in the Sun this morning, and it's the first thing I saw when I switched on my phone this morning. My iPhone. I'm signed up to the BBC. You know, the news flash things, and it plays a little jingle, boop, 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 and up comes the story. And the first little story I saw was that little baby that died, little Alfie Evans. It's incredibly sad, isn't it? What an incredibly sad journey. And I haven't sort of watched it all along, I must admit. But while I was on holiday, I got attached to this story somehow, like probably so many of you did. You know, not even 2 years old, and he had that terrible brain disease. And when he was born, he looked completely normal. And very quickly, doctors realised there was something wrong and something eating away at his brain. And it's just so sad. And we often saw his dad, Tom, I think it was Tom. And he'd done his little Facebook Live videos, and he had groups of people following him and all that. And for the parents to lose a child, I can't think of anything worse than that. Absolutely dreadful. Anyway, he went this morning, early this morning, and they're going to do a balloon release, which people do sometimes, you know, to remember people. And everyone stands there with a balloon and lets it go in memory of that person. In this case, a little boy, not even 2 years old, which is quite nice. There was a lot with this story, not the child dying, but I mean the mobs of people who, they were like followers of Alfie Evans, and they were all against the hospital, this, that, and the other. But I don't know, running against a hospital door and shouting and screaming outside it with placards and things like that. I just don't think that's the way to go about it. I really don't. I think the hospital probably did everything they possibly could for that little boy. But you see, the trouble is, nothing is ever enough. You know? If it was your child, you'd probably be in there doing a similar thing, you know, shouting and screaming at the doctors, do this, do that. I must say, I take a more sort of backseat view, really. In my opinion, it's like, well, they're the doctors. They will know best. Let them get on with it. Other people will be, you know, standing next to you in the hospital bed, perhaps, shouting and screaming at the doctors. Not just Alfie's mum and dad, but I've seen it before. You know, usually sons and daughters of parents who are unfortunately on their last legs, and they're in the hospital and they don't think the nurses and doctors are doing enough. Well, they probably are. And we all know nurses are run off their feet and all that. With the little boy there, I mean, he survived, didn't he? Several days off the life support machine. The Pope got involved, and the thing with Italy and all that business. They were going to fly the boy. They wanted to fly the little boy to Italy. But our doctors, for whatever reason, said it wasn't a good idea. The boy was suffering. You know, the longer you kept him alive, the longer he was suffering. And I think you have to ask yourself sometimes, are you keeping that child alive for his sake or your sake? Or if it's a girl, her sake or your sake? Or a parent? If they are suffering that much, isn't it time to just let them go and let nature take its course? It's a very... Of course, you know, I don't have a son who's in hospital and who's dying. So I can't... You know what I mean? I can't really comment on that. But I do see things as in a more logical sense. That if someone is suffering incredibly badly, why would you prolong that? Of course you don't want to lose your child. When my mother was in hospital, in 2000, in her last days, the doctor took me into a little room and he said, look, it's not good. I think your mum might have cancer. And I said, well, is there anything you can do? And he said, we can put her in an iron lung machine. That would buy us a bit more time. I said, well, what's one of those then? And he pointed to this thing. Oh, well, it was like something out of a bloody horror movie. And I saw my mum in my head going into this machine being closed out. And you're laying like that. You're not standing, you're laying like that. Okay, you can't move. Laying in this iron lung machine, and it's breathing for you. And then in your head, the thought that you may never get out of that machine. Now, what is the point of that? And I said, oh, I don't think so. No, just that's okay. That's fine. And I think you get to the point, you must think about the other person. The person who's in trouble. You must think about the other person. But that is very, very sad news this morning. And our hearts go out to the parents. As I say, I'm not on this mob mentality thing just because people don't agree with something. I mean, you see it up London all the time now. People with placards, waving their flags, this, that and the other, placards and whatever. Millions of people. I think they're going to have 1 million people turn out for Donald Trump's visit, aren't they? Well, when Donald Trump's coming, that's it. Why waste your time going up there waving a blooming flag around? No, he's not going to take any notice of you, is he? He just does his own thing. He's not going to take any notice, so just let him get on with it. Or wasting your time going up there. And, of course, you've got the usual rep parades, don't you? Rent a mob will turn up at all these places. There's a cause. Let's go up there and have a little bit of a piss up, shall we? They're always up there. Oh, such a shame with that little boy, though. And he was very beautiful, wasn't he, when you look at him in the pictures there. It said, Alfie's mother announced her son's death on Facebook, saying he gained his wings at 2:30 in the morning. Balloon release today. Alderhay Hospital said, we wish to express our heartfelt sympathy and condolences to Alfie's family. They're in a difficult position as well, really, the hospital, when you think all these people are shouting at them, and this, that and the other. They're trying to do their best. They can't exactly shout back, can they? If you were the doctor, listen, we're doing the best we can. Will you shut your mouths and go away? They can't say that. They have to step down and accept all this abuse that's coming towards them all the time. I don't think I could do that. I'd take them round the back and lay them out. It's just awful. Awful. Anyway, that's the story this morning. Let's say good morning to some of you this morning. Good morning to Diane. She gets the first message in this morning. Good morning, Diane. Hope you're well. Gustav is there. Good morning, Gustav. Oh, Gustav, someone has commented on your comments by telephone the other day. They said, and the exact words were, does Gustav ever say anything different from the same comments that he makes time in, time out? Perhaps you'd like to take that on board, lovey. Assuming, of course, you've got any credit left on your phone to watch this show. Because I know you live hand to mouth, don't you, my love? Hand to mouth. Poor old Gustav. He's probably just run out of credit on his phone. I think he gets about 500 megabytes for £1 or something like that down the local newsagents. Is that right? Do you buy a little card? Do you get it at the same time as you get the key for, the key electricity and gas thing? Down at the post office, Gustav, is that right? Good morning to Stuart. Stuart Franco, possibly the most good-looking person on here, next to myself. Next to myself. Good morning to Hitcham, who's on one of the Learn English website groups, as is Rajas. Welcome to the show. Adam the Plumber's there. Good morning, Adam the Plumber. SOS Gregorian. Morning, sir. Hope you're well. Juan is there. Cheers on the job. He enjoyed the karaoke stream last night. Thank you, Juan. At the moment, I'm actually streaming the whole thing through my phone because the internet in the pub is just dire at the moment. I don't know what's going on with that in there. Juan, Alfie Evans is not my child. This is a story that's been going on here in the UK for some time, my darling. You might want to have a little look on the Daily Mail. It'll tell you the whole thing there, all right? Good morning to Shina. Morning. Robbie Stedman. Morning, Robbie. Gustav has topped up. Oh, that is good news. It's okay, everyone. Gustav has topped up on his mobile phone credit. He's got a good windfall down at the food bank as well. Are they doing mobile phone cards down there as well, Gustav? down at the food bank. What a good idea that is. And hello to the delightful Louise and Karen. Morning, ladies. You put some beautiful photographs. Louise and Karen live on a narrowboat, which goes up and down the various canals here in the UK, and it just looks a lovely way of life, actually, doing that. One would assume. I think they were having the boat painted the other day, because you have to have a lot. I would imagine there's a lot of maintenance to do on one of those boats that go up and down canals, wouldn't they? Good morning, Joanna. Morning, Joanna. Lovely to be back again. And Paul Mosley up there in Birmingham is there as well. Good morning, Paul. So nice to have you all with us this morning on the show, boys and girls. Good morning, bonjour to Ringo Ring. Good morning, bonjour. Are you trying to ring me? Oh, I noticed a couple of people have been trying to ring me on the Facebook Messenger app. Now, I've got to tell you, I don't use that. I don't use that. We can't have people calling us at all hours of the day and night trying to have a conversation. Like, you see, when this show is on... Okay, oh, where's my slip? Do you know, I just realised I haven't put any socks on. Good job I've got my slippers in here, isn't it? I can't ring people day and night. If you want to talk, then you need to wait for the phone lines to be open, okay? And talk to me when the show is on. I won't take calls at any other time, okay? So only when the show is on. If the phone lines are open, feel free to call in. But I can't be sort of, at your beck and call 24 hours a day, dear. There's no waitress service, is it, dear? Do you know what I mean? There's no waitress service. There's about 5 people at the moment. There's one now. There's one. How can you be trying to call in, Sam? I don't use the messenger audio. I don't know how much clearer I can make it than that. I just don't use it. I don't use it at all. Good morning to Angela, who can't afford to from Australia. Yes, I can understand that. That's a long old way, that is. What you need is a Skype. You need Skype, Angela, okay? Hello to Uang. And Juan says, we are all well aware here in the States about Alfie. Ah, good. I know that Alfie is not your child. Thank you, Alfie. Yeah, thank you, Alfie. So I'm glad you know that. Goody, goody, goody. So I've just been on holiday, boys and girls. Just a minute. Just been on holiday, boys and girls. As you know, to Haven Holidays, which is a caravan park. Now, they do have parks all over the country. And generally, they are not generally, they are all very well kept. Okay, they're clean. The caravans are always clean and well made up. The beds are made. Everything's cleaned before you go in there and have your little holiday. Seagulls. I mean, aren't seagulls big things? They're just massive seagulls. Huge things. They scare me, seagulls. And they've got long beaks, haven't they? They got long beaks. You always wonder if you're sort of walking down the road, several seagulls attack you. They could have your eyes out like that, dear. Walking around like that. I've got no eyes. What happened? The seagulls ate them. Awful. Awful. So I'm glad you enjoyed our little holiday videos while we were there. I don't actually go out to make a video every day, I must say. I think, I'll make a couple of videos while I'm here. But once I get into it, I keep doing it. And as long as it doesn't upset the fact, put the camera away. No, they never say that. They just put up with me. And I had a wonderful time. One thing I noticed up there, when you go out for a tea and a scone, you get massive scones. Look at this. Look at the size of that scone. Weren't anything like that in Selfridges. Look at the size of that scone. Oh, my God knows how many sins are in that. And if you're wondering why great-nephew Harry isn't looking very happy, that's because I've got the big scone and he's got the tiny bar of chocolate. Why would you want... I mean, I don't get that. Why would you want a fabric... Oh, what's the word? A processed bit of chocolate stuck in a plastic wrapper over a lovely homemade scone. Look at the size of that. I couldn't get that all in my mouth, I'll tell you, in one go. Absolutely delicious, it really was. So there was a little bit of traffic on my way up to Yorkshire. I got stuck behind a couple of tractors, but that's okay. That's actually okay, you're sort of sitting behind that tractor, and they do pull right in. So that when you get a straight stretch, the good ones do anyway, when you get a straight stretch of road, you can go past them, you see. Very, very windy up there for most of the time that we were up there, I have to say. But on the other hand, we are on the coast. And of course, it's always windy on the coast. So lovely time up there. A particular highlight of the day, and we did do a video of this. If you didn't see it, you can find all the videos on my Facebook wall, facebook.com/Chris Reardon UK, or on my YouTube page, youtube.com/Chris Reardon UK. You can find the 3 or 4 videos that I did while I was in Yorkshire. My particular favourite day was when we went on a train, an old-fashioned. Actually, it was several trains. It was we stayed in the same carriage. They were really old-fashioned. I believe Jeannie D, who watches the videos, I think she said it was a Mark III railway coach that we stayed on with slam doors. Oh, there's something incredibly satisfying about slamming a train door. It's just wonderful. None of this, where's the button? Push. Psst, psst. Oh, none of that. No, you've got to slam these doors. Bang. I love it. And it was all clean in the train. There was a little man going upstairs with tea and biscuits and cakes and things. And that's how it used to be. It was wonderful to be on a train like that. And first of all, it went one station as a diesel train. And then they changed the engine at the top and it became a steam train. Oh, and this smoke was puffing out the engine, and then we went through a cut tunnel, and the smoke, I can't, and the smell, the most beautiful smell of pollution. That's what it is, pollution pouring into the train carriages as it went through this tunnel. But no one's coughing. Oh, it was just amazing. And the countryside in Yorkshire is to die for. It really is. Now, my sister lives in Lincolnshire, and I've always thought it's very, very beautiful in Lincolnshire. Until you go to Yorkshire. The whole place is just like a picture postcard. You know, this train left Whitby, and it's all old school. You go into this shop where they got all these sweets and different things, and you buy your tickets in that shop, and then you go and get on the platform, and it's like the end of the line. So after the train, there's buffers. You can't go any further. You get on this train and you wait, and the staff, I think a lot of them are volunteers, are in crisply ironed uniforms and shirts, and when you get to a station, it's called out by a man on the platform. Oakworth, or wherever it was we were. Gosworth, I think it was Gosworth, something like that. Well, the train left Whitby, and as the moment it left Whitby, which is, again, a beautiful seaside town, which I highly recommend you go and see. Stunning place. All different shops. There's no Boots. There's no Sainsbury's or Tesco's or John Lewis. No, these are all little private shops and bars. There's no All Bar One. There's no Wetherspoons, nothing like that. They're just individually owned places. And it's like this place has never changed. And there's stacks and stacks of, I think they're crab cage type thing. Not cages, they're made, are they cages? Oh, they might be cages. They're either cages or made of like wicker stuff, like where they would catch crabs and things like that. There's little boats there, and of course ice creams. Oh, the amount of ice cream I had while I was on holiday. Oh, don't let me tell you. But I've weighed myself. I've already lost a bit of the weight that I gained while I was on holiday, so I'm quite pleased about that. I'm terrified Tuesday going to Slimming World Day. Terrified going to Slimming World on Tuesday. God knows what's going to happen on those scales. Never mind. So we left Whitby, and then it just goes through this countryside, and you don't see anything other than a few collections of houses here and there. You know, maybe 5 or 6 houses all collected together, but generally just open countryside. No motorways, no hundreds of people, no dirty streets. Just this train cuts through open countryside. It's like something out of a film. It is beautiful. I highly recommend, if you come into the UK, don't get stuck in London, which is, of course, the thing that everyone was doing. When you go to New York, you stay in New York. When you go to London, you stay in London. Try and get out of London, go to Yorkshire, go to a place called Whitby and take the train. Take the old-fashioned steam train and go through the Yorkshire countryside. I cannot recommend it enough. And it's so relaxing. We were on the train for about an hour and we ended up, I can't remember the name of the station now, but it's where they filmed part of Heartbeat. You know that programme? It was with Nick Berry started it off, didn't it? And then that changed. Heartbeat, la da da da. Da, 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 da. And we went into the pub. We went into the pub for a meal, actually, where they filmed some of the scenes. Unfortunately, we were 15 minutes too late. Oh, I've had my pills. It's 10 past. Have I had my pills? Yes, I have. We got there too late for lunch, unfortunately. So we left there and we walked down a little bit further. We found a nice tea rooms to have lunch. And it's just so peaceful and nice. Of course, apparently this particular area gets horrendously busy in the summer, so we were there at the right time. There are sheep walking around the village. Yeah, not in a field. They're walking around in the village. And me and Harry, we were going to go and stroke one. I said, "Come on, Harry, let's go and stroke the sheep." And we approached it, and then we realised it had horns, so we changed our minds. That's Harry in the picture I showed you earlier. There was a phone book, so there's an old-fashioned police car there. Wow. And we went in this little place for a meal. I had chili on a jacket potato and various other meals. At this point, unfortunately, the pram broke. Olivia, who's my nephew's 2-year-old little girl, she lives, I'm afraid, in a pram because she's got several severe disabilities. Actually, a similar condition in her brain as Alfie has. My niece-in-law told me. And the pram, something snapped in there, so Gary had to get the screwdriver out and he fixed it because he's very good at fixing things. My nephew Gary fixed it to a point, you know. Apparently, they've been on at the hospital for ages, telling the hospital that the child is now too heavy for the pram. It's like about 10 kilos over what the pram says. So they've gone up on a step and it's gone crack. I thought, oh no. Anyway, it had broken. Fortunately, Gary was able to fix it to a point so we could get back and use it for another day or so before they go back to the hospital. I suppose they make an appointment or something like that. So we had the meal in there. Then we walked around a little bit more. And, you know, just looking at these houses and how they are and set out. And everyone is different. Not like a modern housing estate. I hate modern housing estates. I really do. They are like Lego, like Barratt homes, Wimpy homes, whoever. They're all the same. You go in, my niece and my nephew both live on kind of modern housing estates. And, you know, fair enough, they're okay. People like living in them. I don't. They all look identical. Whenever I used to go and visit my niece, I would get lost. Now, it's not a massive place, but all the houses look exactly the same. How boring is that? You don't get that in Florida. When you go to the States, each little place looks different. Why would you want to live in something that looks exactly the same as the person living next door? It's just boring. Boring. Now I'm looking at all these houses, and it might be like 1, 2, 3, 5 houses in a row, and then they were surrounded by fields. And there was actually in this particular little place, there were 5 houses in a row. There was a road, and then this road goes up on this hill. It was really steep. And I thought, you know, if it snows, that's it. They are cut off. End of story. Fend for yourself, mate. Nothing can get up and down that road if it got icy. So there is that to look at. Of course, I'm seeing it on a bright sunny day. It's quite nice. We kept getting a little bit of rain here and there, but you know, the weather when you go on holiday in England, you know that the weather may not be that good. The weather when you are with children is irrelevant. They are still having a good time whether or not the rain is pouring down or it's snowy or thunder and lightning. They will still have a good time. So what if they get a bit wet? We don't all have to... I mean, certainly one of the things I don't like to do is sit on a beach and do nothing. I can't think of anything more boring. They sit there. I mean, people like it. They go and sit by the pool at the hotel, you know, for the whole day reading a book. Okay, well, if that's what you want to do, fine. I can't do that. I'm far too athletic, I think is the word we're looking for, boys and girls. Athletic. We're far too athletic to do anything like that. So we were there for a couple of hours, had a little walk around, and as I say, it was beautiful. Unfortunately, we went into this little shop, which was part of the cafe place that we were in, and they were doing homemade fudge. Yeah. So, what flavour would you like? I said, well, what's the normal flavour? I think it's the vanilla, is it? He said, well, probably vanilla or caramel. Oh, well, I don't know which one to have now. And he looked at me, he said, well, why don't you have a piece of... well, yeah, we'll go on then. So I had a little bag with 2 bits of vanilla, 1 vanilla fudge and 1 caramel fudge, which he cut up for us, and we put it in a little bag, and we started walking back to the station. And by the time we got there, I'd finished it. Although I did give 2 pieces to someone else. Just 2, yeah. 2 pieces to someone else. I had 2 bags of fudge. Oh, my God. In the space of... Oh, it's so... Homemade fudge. Oh, God. My sister makes homemade fudge as well. It's delicious. It's one of the worst sweets you can have for calories. You know that? It's certainly in Slimmer's world. One of the worst things you can have is homemade fudge. Or any sort of fudge, come to that. It's awful. Anyway, so I've had that. We've got back on the train and on the way home again. And we came out, as I say, at Whitby. Got off at Whitby. Walked along there, looked at the little boats. Bought some ice creams, which were very nice. And then came back to the caravan. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful day. And this particular day was sorted out by my niece-in-law as a little treat for me. I didn't even have to pay. I mean, it just gets better and better, doesn't it? Didn't even have to pay. It was a little treat that they'd sorted out for me. And you couldn't have done anything better, because you know I love trains. I love trains. The Yorkshire, I think it's the North Yorkshire Steam Railway. If you type that into Google, you'll find something like that, okay? So that was that bit there. Talking of ice creams, I've got to say the ice creams in the Haven Holiday Primrose Valley, that's where we stayed. Haven Holiday, Primrose Valley. There's an ice cream place there. It might have been called Miller's Cookies and Cream, I think it was. They did ice creams in there. My God, they were cups. But the cup was bigger than this. I kid you not. And they would fill that. They would smash up a couple of cookies, put them in there, and then fill it up with ice cream and some of the cookie around the outside, and drizzled it in toffee blooming stuff. Whatever that is, toffee syrup. I've had one. I think I've had 4 of those while I was there. 4 of those. Oh my God, they are delicious. And only like £3.50. Only £3.50 for one of those. Oh, they were beautiful. Mr. Whippy ice cream. Filled up to the top. I suppose the cup's probably about a little bit bigger than that. And so they get to the top, not like down here south. Not like down here, where that's where it was finished. Oh, no. And carries on round the top. These things were massive. I had 4 while I was away. 4. Only £3.50. Now, there's a bloke down there near the Long Acres Garden Centre in Bracknell. He does ice creams, Italian bloke, and it's nice enough. The ice cream's nice, very nice. But it's like, the size of the ice cream is that, and that is about £3.70 now, down there. And he don't top it up like that or any of that. I mean, how much does it cost extra to put a little bit on the top? About 3 pence? People are so tight. I hate bean counters. People who count stuff all the time, and they're so terrified that they're going to give you a little bit too much and it's going to cost them too much money, innit? And you work in certain bars. I worked in one bar, and the bloke was nice enough. And I remember being at a meeting, and he was telling the staff, I wasn't a barman myself, and he was telling the staff how to put as much ice as possible in the drink so that they don't have to give away the Coca-Cola syrup, which is like pennies. I mean, people take this penny pinching thing a little bit too far, don't they? Oh, I know what I meant to tell you. Yesterday, I had a plumber. I had to have a plumber in again yesterday. My solar panel wasn't pulling the water through. It wasn't a problem that he could sort out, but nevertheless, I was saying to him about water meters and all that business. I said, well, I'm not too bad on the water meter. I think once you go onto a water meter, you tend to be more careful. You do tend to be more careful. And he said, well, I hope you're not as careful as the woman yesterday. I said, go on. He said, well, I had to flush her chain once and she wanted a discount off the plumbing bill. I said, you're joking. He said, no. He said, I went in there, flushed the toilet. She says, have you just flushed my toilet? And he says, well, I've had to, to check your water. She said, well, I want a discount off the bill then. You've sent my meter round. Doesn't even cost a penny to flush a toilet. Water is so cheap. I can't wait. Well, I mean, the next bill I get, because as you know, I had a water leak and it'd been going on for some time. I mean, possibly a couple of years. Okay, so the next bill isn't going to tell me if it's made a difference. It'll be the one after in December. So I've got right away until December to see if I've saved any money or not. Anyway, that's the ice cream. Evening entertainment at the Haven Primrose Valley place. That was okay. They've got a group of like a team of people, young people who do the entertainment. And it varies, to be honest, depending on what they're doing. For example, they did a Michael Jackson night. And they were doing Michael Jackson songs. No, that wasn't very good. Some of it was out of tune. Wasn't very good at all. But then the next night, they did this Club Anthems, I think it was called. Now, that worked. And the same group of people. So it depends on the show. I think Michael Jackson songs are quite difficult to sing. I would imagine they're difficult to sing. And it's funny, when you sing songs, whether you're karaoke or not, some songs suit you, some songs don't suit you. That's the thing. We're running a karaoke night. There are certain people who will remain nameless, who are good at certain types of songs and not at others, okay? And they tend to choose the others. They don't do the songs that they're good at. It's like they're trying to test themselves, if you see what I mean. Which is okay, it's up to you what you do. But if you're a rock singer, then you might not be able to do power ballads or even disco. I certainly couldn't do R&B, like Justin Bieber. All the times, and I can't stand that singing where they don't sing a note as it is. Instead of singing, they go, I believe that's called vocal acrobats. Can't stand it. This is something that's occurred in the last 10 years. Can't bear vocal acrobats. Anyway, so the evening entertainment was quite good. Bingo. Each and every night we played bingo. On the first night we were there, my niece-in-law won £160. But she didn't share it around, did she? Very disappointing. She didn't share that money around. I'd already decided, although I hadn't said anything, of course. I'd already decided in my mind, had I have won the bingo, I would have just given them the money. My nephew and his family. There you go and spend that. Well, she didn't even share hers, not even so much of a drink. I've never seen someone get up from her seat so quickly and rush over to the bar to get the money she just won. Bingo, I love it. In fact, I loved it so much that while we were playing bingo, I actually texted my mate, my best mate Ron, who I'm meeting up with later today, to tell him that we need to join the bingo in Bracknell. At least go once a week. I love bingo. I used to do a little bingo night called Bingay, which was great fun. I suppose I could resurrect it again somewhere. I don't know. Could do something like that. Bingo. So the bingo, interesting. So the bingo setup. So you're in a big hall. In this particular case, the bingo setup is this, right? So you're in the big entertainment complex. There's a lady, I think it was always a lady. No, it was bloke sometimes. So a bloke or a lady in the corner at like a podium with a computer. And they do a little bit of talking. Good evening and welcome to the bingo. please get your tickets over there and all that. Anyway, it gets to 8 o'clock and they close the ticket sales. Then they start reading these numbers. Okay, your book needs to be between the numbers 1177 and 1496. Make sure your bingo ticket books are within those numbers, okay? Now, I'm aware that there's a serious element to this. There are certain laws that have to be complied with if you're doing big money bingo, okay? When I say big money, I think anything sort of possibly from £100 upwards. So he's reading these numbers, and then it's right. And now here's the rules and regulations. He then pushes a button, and this computer starts reading out, from a recording, rules and regulations. And then the bingo, and I've got to say, on every single occasion, the person standing in this box was as boring as hell. Now, these are supposed to be entertainment staff. How can you stand there sounding and being boring? I know that you've got a script to read out. You were clearly working from a script. There was no personality. So I was a bit disappointed about that. A bit of flair. For God's sake, can we have a little bit of flair? Now, if I sat here, and very good morning to you. Welcome to United Kingdom Talk. My name's Chris Reardon. And the holiday that I've just been at, Haven Holidays in Primrose. If I started talking to you like that, you'd switch off in droves, dear. In fact, 8 million people have left the show already today, and I'm being like this. They were as boring as hell, the people doing the bingo. But he wasn't the worst one. Oh, my God. So they also have a person who walks around and checks the tickets if you win. So, the bingo night might be going on 4 and 9, 49, 5 and 2, 52, 6 and house. And so, okay, you put your hand up. Okay, so you've got a line or a house, whatever. So this girl with glasses and long blonde hair walks over. Oh, hello, I've got the ticket numbers. It's 29, 33. My God, it was like she actually didn't want to be there. Either that or she was on another planet altogether. No personality whatsoever. She looked like one of those kids who you've just disturbed from playing a computer game. You know what I mean, don't you? There's nothing there. Absolutely nothing going on in her head. And my God, didn't it come across? She had no personality whatsoever. I've never seen such a bored-looking entertainer in my life. Now, sometimes I get a little bit busy while I'm doing karaoke, and I'm tapping away there, and it may look like I'm not quite with it because I'm trying to concentrate on another part of the karaoke. I'm not sitting there talking to friends. I'm doing something because there's quite a lot to do when you're doing a karaoke, especially when you're streaming the show as well. You've got to keep an eye on all this stuff, and sometimes you take your eye off it and something. And then someone a message. Oh Christ. But this one, I don't think she wanted to be doing the job. Anyway, I've written a letter to them. I'll read that to you in a minute. So that was the bingo. Disappointingly, we had a meal on the last day at a place called Lakeside Restaurant. Again, this was in the Primrose Valley actual place itself. And that was very disappointing, I have to say. There was a girl who served us, Fred. This girl's name was Fred. And she was pleasant enough. She was a very nice girl, very but it was very obvious from the moment I sat down. I thought, well, where's all the staff? They haven't got enough staff in there. And it's the old thing. And when we complained eventually, it was that old answer. We're short-staffed. Well, get some more bloody staff then. That's not an excuse. People have paid for holidays. We expect a certain type of service. Anyway, I ordered garlic bread and a veggie burger, and they ordered some other stuff. One of the other items was rosemary and sea salt bread. Okay? So we ordered these. All the meals came and my garlic bread. I thought, okay, so they bought the garlic bread as my starter. That's fair enough. Well, I mean, it couldn't have been any thinner. It was like eating cardboard. It was, honestly, it was so thin. It had a bit of a taste to it, but nothing like you would expect garlic bread to be. It was awful, awful. And then my niece-in-law, she ordered this bit of garlic, not garlic bread. It was a bread with sea salt and balsamic vinegar on it. Well, I mean, she tried to cut that. It just flaked away. It was like a piece of dried out, cardboard. Oh, cardboard don't even look like that. It was so dry and unbelievable. Anyway, so she complained about that, and they said, oh, it's because you haven't had any butter on it. Well, why are you serving it like that then? Awful. And then I sat there, where's my meal? They'd completely forgotten about my meal. So then, of course, because it's all cooked freshly, they had to go and cook it. So I'm waiting there, sort of sitting there, tapping my fingers like that. I didn't really enjoy the garlic bread, but I ate it anyway. And then the burger and the chips came, and I started eating it. And I was immediately aware I didn't like the burger. It was a veggie burger. I think, although I'm not 100% sure, I think there was too much, they'd used cumin in it. Cumin. And there was a lot of it in there. And that's all I could taste. It was vile. Absolutely vile. But of course, I'm starving hungry, so I've eaten, I suppose, about half. I took all the bread off and had all the bread. The bun for the bread. And I had about half the burger, and then I couldn't eat any more of that. The chips, 3 out of 10 for the chips. My great nephew Harry had a few chips and didn't touch his little chicken nuggets at all. So he can't have liked it either. Anyway, they called over people to talk. Not me, my niece-in-law and her friend Cheryl, who is the little baby's carer, Olivia's carer. Olivia is the little disabled girl. And they complained, and we had to ask for the drinks twice. They didn't arrive. And it was that excuse, oh, I'm sorry, we're short-staffed. Not good enough. Not good enough. We are paying for a bloody service here. And it wasn't a cheap restaurant. My burger and chips were like nearly 10 quid. I think £8.95, something like that. And not really edible. So they complained. Eventually, I think they got 15% off. That was about it. So very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing on the meal at the Lakeside restaurant. Can't recommend that to you at all. Sorry, no. And funnily enough, there was a table opposite us, and the bloke there didn't like it there either. So that was the meal at the Lakeside restaurant. I left on Thursday night in the hope of avoiding traffic. So I left on Thursday night about 8 o'clock. I had one more ice cream, of course, that day. Just one more ice cream. And went to... Oh, the other thing was the swimming pool there. Oh, that's amazing. The swimming pool's fantastic. They've got like this big bucket, and it's constantly filling up with water. And when it gets full, it tips, and anyone underneath it is soaked. Unfortunately, if you catch it in the wrong way, it takes your shorts down with you. If you're standing with your back to it, and you're waiting and then you see it start tipping, and you quickly turn around like that, and the water pours down, and it takes your shorts off. Harry and Evie loved standing under that, and they got these water sprays coming out all over the place. What's the other thing? There was another thing in there that we really liked. Oh, the water slide. Up and down that water slide. Oh my God, I must have gone up that 20 times one day, following the children up there. Up and down the water slide. So that was really good. Unfortunately, the water. Now, I know the pool attendants have got a job to do, i.e. stopping little people from dying in there. I know that. But can we do it with a smile, please? 2 of them in particular were really miserable. One bloke, about 32, bald-haired, miserable as sin. And there was a woman there as well. A lady, I don't know how old she would have been. About 25, standing and looking as miserable as sin. Now, it can't be that boring a job. I understand swimming pool attendance jobs in some places must be as boring as hell because nothing happens. There, you've got to be watching people all the time. And indeed they are. They were doing the job well. But can we do it with a smile, please? For God's sake, we are on holiday. Miserable people. I think Avon Holidays need to vet their staff for happiness. You know, if you're in a depressed state, don't come to work because we don't want to see your miserable face. If I had a miserable face on here all the time, then you'd soon switch off, wouldn't you? You wouldn't want to see me. Wouldn't want to see me? Huh? So miserable staff. So that was the swimming pool. Swimming pool, fantastic. And as I say, the entire site, they must go around cleaning all the time. Spotless. Absolutely spotless there. Cutting grass. And that's those things I've just told you about. I've, expanded on them. But that's only a couple of little things. And that shouldn't stop you from going to a Haven holiday place. Really, it shouldn't. Because overall, a fantastic time and pretty good value for money if you go outside of the school time. If you go school time, it's going to cost you a lot more. But we went outside of school times. And I think I paid about £200 for my caravan for 4 nights. And all the electric gas is included in that. You've got cooking facilities, bathroom, toilet, very comfortable bed. Yeah, but no complaints whatsoever. Absolutely no complaints whatsoever about the accommodation or the cleanliness or generally the friendliness of the staff. Although there were some occasions, as I pointed out to you today. The friendliest person was an older bloke, I suppose probably about my age, between 50 and 55. He was in a little box on the entrance gate. So you drive your car in, there's a little box there. Good morning, sir. How are you today? I said, I'm checking in. He said, okay, anything you want at all, just come up and see me and I'll sort you out. And he was so nice and friendly. That was the first face you saw when you got there. And that is who you want on the door. That is absolutely who you want on the door. Someone friendly and happy, welcoming people there. I mean, perhaps they could get him to read the bingo as well and be a swimming pool attendant. Maybe he can sing in tune as well at the Michael Jackson night. If you've got children, there's always something going on in there for children. There really is. Okay, so that was my holiday. As I say, absolutely beautiful up there. The drive home, I left there at 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, I got stuck on the M1. There's some road works or something going on there. And at 9:30 at night, I got stuck in a 20-minute jam. Which, when you're at the other end, I still had another 2 odd hours to go. You don't want it that early into the journey. Which I say it's about halfway through the journey. I hit this traffic. But that's just the way it goes. And I got back here. I left there at 8. I got back here... no, it was a bit earlier I left, I think. I left about 7:30 and I got back here at about 5 to 12, so not bad. But it is a good old drive. It's a good 4.5 hour drive, that is, if you're sort of in the London way. Okay, right, let's say hello to some of you again on your messages there. Hello to Ben Nancer. Good morning, Ben. Welcome to the show. Medal says, I like traditional houses as well. Yes, so much better, aren't they? Old houses, Medal. Old houses are so much better. Sean says, try delivering milk to houses on a modern housing estate. It's a nightmare. You get lost. It's so easy to get lost in a modern housing estate. It really is. Social media says it's a bit like on Baywatch. What, on the at Haven Holidays? No, nothing like Baywatch. There's not many fit people there. I got to tell, there's a hell of a lot of overweight, really overweight people. I mean, really, and some very, very strange-looking people in there as well. Sometimes strange-looking, including myself. Paul says, you look like you've been on a train with Michael Patillo. Do you like this one? This is the cheapest jacket I've got. It was only about 10 quid, this one. 10 or 20 quid. It's supposed to be a school blazer. I just pulled it out of the cupboard and thought I'd wear this today. Angela says, in Australia, you have to say a big scone means you have a big head. Is that right, Angela? A big scone means you have a big head. We eat them here. Heads as well. Oh, yes, and don't mind a deeply fried head now and again. I think they do those up at North as well. Good morning to Wendy Young. Morning, Wendy. She's doing the Slimming World. 6.5 inches has lost already, Wendy, on the Slimming World. She's not going to go too much further than that. 6.5 inches is a good amount to lose, Wendy. Have you named the royal baby? Yes, they have. Prince, I think it's Louis. I can't remember. Louis, have we got an Albert in there somewhere? I can't remember now. What's the royal baby's name? Someone tell us on there, okay? Let's have a look there. The royal baby's name. I think it's Prince Louis, something like that, okay? Ants, good morning, Ants. In Central Station tonight is Electric Blue. Excellent cabaret. Wonderful, wonderful, like a young Dockyard Doris. So, Electric Blue is the cabaret tonight in Central Station. If you're coming down there, boys and girls. All right. So that was that. I, of course, am immediately back on the Slimming World plan now. I've been back a day. I was on it yesterday. I've already managed to lose some of the weight that I gained. I actually weighed myself naked this morning. Naked. Go on, close your eyes and imagine me naked on a scales. And it said 12.0.6. So I'm kind of happy. I might cheat a little bit, actually, at Slimming World on Tuesday by not having breakfast before I leave the house. Because I've noticed, weigh yourself in the morning and weigh yourself throughout the day. And it gradually goes up and up and up. Okay? Then you go to bed. And when you get up the next morning, it's all gone again. How weird is that? But you need some accurate scales for like digital ones, so you can you get points. If it's just a needle, it's difficult to tell. If it's moved only a tiny bit. But if you've got digital scales, try this one. Weigh yourself as soon as you get up. Okay, weigh yourself as soon as you get up, in the same clothes as you weigh yourself before you go to bed. All right. So if you want to weigh yourself naked, that's all right. Weigh yourself naked as soon as you get up. Take a note of that. Then weigh yourself naked just before you go to bed, and you'll notice the weight's gone up quite a bit. And then weigh yourself again the next morning naked, and you'll find all that weight that you'd gained all night has gone again. How strange and mysterious is that? Isn't it? Oh, Christ. Ants has gone to the dentist. Oh, dear. Good luck, mate. On a Saturday. Oh, you're not going on a Saturday, are you? Oh, that's when they make all the mistakes, Ants. Terrible, mate. Because they don't really want to be there on a Saturday. Dear me. Well, he won't muck about trying to fix it and be straight out your head, that tooth. Put it under your pillow. You might get something. Unlikely, but you might. Goody two-shoes. I've got loads more to tell you, but we've been chatting for so long now. I'll save a little bit for tomorrow. I'm playing the organ tomorrow. Do you remember I said at the Holy Ghost Church, I'm actually playing the organ. I'm terrified. I haven't done it for so long. It's a really old organ as well. It's very, very old. You've got to push those keys down. There's no touch on them. Push them down really hard. I'm ever so nervous tomorrow. And I've been practicing the hymns and the mass setting all week, and I've almost got it together. Almost. Of course, it could all fall apart tomorrow. It's very embarrassing hitting a wrong note in front of, 100 people who are trying to sing a hymn. So I'm doing that tomorrow at 11 o'clock at the Church of the Holy Ghost in Crowthorne, which I'm going there. Good morning. Alan Campbell. Good morning, Alan Campbell. Alan Campbell was my best friend when I lived in Roehampton. So I would have been 16, 17, 18 at the time, Alan. Lovely to see you. I'm going to meet up with Alan at some point. I discovered him on Facebook the other day and I said, are you Alan Campbell? You used to be my best friend when I was a child, and it was him, wasn't it? Radio 23 and Parkside Radio. Good God. Radio 23 was a little radio station that I did from my bedroom. I think I was 15 or 16 at the time. And it was two record players. There was no microphone. 2 record players set up in my bedroom, and a little switch made out of drawing pins and paper clips. And there was 2 wires that came out. There was a pair of wires, which is 2 wires. A pair of wires that came out of the bedroom and went into the living room. That was how I started. Then I joined 2 more wires on it, and it went into the kitchen and the living room. And then I had wires coming out of the house to my neighbour. And then my friend Alan Campbell, who's there now, okay, he lived in the block next to us, and he was we were on the it was only 2 floors. There was a first floor, then there was bedrooms, then there was the 3rd floor, which was the 2nd floor, and bedrooms. So he was on the 2nd floor in the block right next to us, and there was a road coming toward through it. And we one day we decided to extend the radio station, okay, to the block next to us, mainly to his house. But I was a bit concerned about, just tossing a bit of wire over. You know, that might look a bit dodgy. So if I remember rightly, I'm not quite sure if I'm right with this. If I remember rightly, I attached some sort of flags or bunting to the wire to make... Good morning, J-A-E. Good morning, J-A-E. Sorry, Tiperia. Good morning, Tiperia. Typo error. Typo errors with us. Good morning. So I think I attached flags to this wire, and we waited till there was no cars. And Alan, how did we do this? I think I literally wrapped up the wire and chucked it across the road, and he caught it on the balcony. We took it along his balcony, got it to his house, pulled it into the bedroom or the house or something, and attached a speaker to that. And he could then listen to the music I was playing. How fantastic is that? Alan Campbell. God, how many years ago? 15, 16, 26, 36, 40. That's nearly 40 years ago, Alan. 40 years ago. Anyway, I'm hoping to meet up with Alan at some point. It's lovely to have you with us, Alan. Do I look for... I don't know what you look like because you've got no photograph on your Facebook wall. Perhaps if you send me a little message so I know what... I don't know what you look like anymore. I saw Steve Short. He was another one of our friends. Some years ago, actually, he popped around here. Funnily enough, Steve Short. Yeah, he's. I think he's married. I think he married twice. I think he's married again. I'm on my own, but I think he married again. Yeah, Steve Short, also known as Leaky. We used to go camping. Well, Steve was our other friend. Alan. Yes, we were friends from little kids. I remember the gang show. We were in gang shows as well. Scout gang shows. These were like amateur dramatics, but better. You know, we were all singing songs and dressing up and performing dances on stages. First of all, at a place called Garnet College, which was along Roehampton Lane. That's where I first did it. That was a small place. And then it moved from there to... Oh, where did it go from there? To a school, I think. To Wandsworth. We did Wandsworth School. There was a stage at Wandsworth School as well, so we did there as well, didn't we? Yeah, wow. Happy days. And they were happy days. They were happy days when you was a child, weren't they? I think they always were. Is the Black Cat reopening? No, they're trying. They are trying, though. They really are trying. They really are trying. Okie doke. Right, I'm going to disappear here, boys and girls. It's time to go. I've got some stuff to do as well this afternoon. So first of all, I was going to read you the email I sent to... No, we're stopped there. I will stop there. And we're due today's birthdays. Okay? Happy birthday today to my nephew, Gary Butler. Happy birthday, Gary. Do you know, I'm not sure... Isn't that awful? Not sure how old your own nephew is, but happy birthday today to Gary Butler, who I've just been on holiday with. Happy birthday, Gary. Happy birthday to Heidi, who is 47 today. She often pops up. She's not there today. I think she's been out all night. So happy birthday to Heidi, 47 today. Alice Borisenko is 27 years old today. Happy birthday, Alice. Alan Butcher. You'll know Alan. Alan Campbell. You'll know Alan Butcher today. Is 53 years old today. He was in our Cubs and Scouts as well, weren't you, Alan? I haven't seen him for some years. Always got on well with Alan. Nice bloke. Happy birthday, Alan. 53 today. Chris Hughes. Happy birthday, Chris. Jamey Tyler is 34 years old today. Lee Whiffin, 36 years old today. Looking very Butch Lee. Happy birthday. Dean James is 34 years old today. Brenda Trick Tober. Happy birthday, Brenda. Ian Coram Millward is 45 years old today. Darcy Rowe, a young 26 years old today. Is that a horse you're on there? I can't see it. Oh, no, it's a chair. The picture's so small. I should have my glasses on while I'm doing this. Happy birthday, Darcy. David Butcher as well. That's Alan's brother. He's 53 years old today as well. Happy birthday, Dave. Do I always remember, Dave, when you told me about the new Star Trek, which was, of course, Star Trek The Next Generation, and you told me that you'd seen it. I hadn't seen it. You told me you'd seen it. I don't know if you'd been to America or something. I can't remember. And you said, wait till you see the new Star Trek. It's fantastic. I always remember you telling me that. And the other thing I always remember you telling me is when you had a job and you said to me, it's fantastic. I've never got less than £100 in my pocket now. That won't get you very far now, though, will it, Dave? Hey? I remember you saying that. I never go anywhere with less than £100 in my pocket. I remember that. And your mum and dad were diamonds as well. Happy birthday, David. Jacqueline Lubin is 50 years old today. Barbara Miller. Hello, Barbara. I think you're one of our Manilow girls, aren't you, Barbara? 70 years old today. Happy birthday, Barbara. Looking 70? No, I don't think so, darling. Don't think so. In fact, I was wondering, Barbara, whether you were even old enough to be on Facebook by the look at your photo. Happy birthday, Barbara. Who's 70 today. Now, yesterday's birthdays I will do as well, okay, because we weren't here yesterday. Wasn't here like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We can't just keep going backwards and backwards, otherwise the whole show would just be birthdays. So I'll do yesterday's as well for you, okay? Mohamet Ali was 35 years old yesterday. He sometimes sends a message, so happy birthday for yesterday, Mohamet. Tom Gardner. It's the Nacho Boy himself. Activist for political parties as well. Thomas, always proud of you, my friend. Happy birthday to Thomas Gardner. Hope you had a wonderful birthday yesterday. Tamkin Riaz, 58 years old yesterday. Micky Austin, 52 years old yesterday. Jill Round, happy birthday. Ben Thompson, 30. Oh, you'd kill me for that one, wouldn't you, Ben? 30 years old yesterday. Ben Thompson. Tim Louis, happy birthday, Tim. Erik Mitchell. John Hicks, who runs internet radio stations, don't you, John? Happy birthday for yesterday. Lolita Torbesso, 34 years old yesterday. Bertie Fotheringhay, 51 years old yesterday. Robert Mussey Cowley, little Robert, 30 years old yesterday. John Davidson, 52 years old yesterday. And they're all our birthdays, boys and girls. Shall we sing? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Enjoy your birthday, boys and girls. Just let you know, as I say, tomorrow I'm playing the organ down the Church of the Holy Ghost in Crowthorne, so I won't be with you tomorrow morning. Probably tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night, one or the two, unless I get up really early. But tomorrow I'll probably get up early and I want to practice the hymns again before I go down to the local church. All right, so I probably won't be with you tomorrow morning. It'll be like tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night. Don't forget, always do a follow thing, and then whenever I'm live, you'll get some sort of notification. Or if you want on YouTube as well, youtube.com/Chris Reardon UK. Enjoy your Saturday, boys and girls, and I'll see you again at some point tomorrow. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.